Okay, welcome everybody. So this video is covering, it's basically a recap of the field study. I'm kind of bending over because my chair's in the way, but I want to back up here and use the board in just a sec. But for right now, I want you to kind of take special attention to this lens for the field study analysis. Your job this week, you've already chosen the organization that you're going to observe, and hopefully by week 7, you've hopefully already done your observation. You don't necessarily have to. You still have until next week before you actually start analyzing it, but that might make this assignment a little difficult if you haven't already done the observation, but at least if you haven't done it, at least tell me what your plans are. So anyways, for right now though, let me explain what I'm talking about when I say that you have to choose a theory. So let me blow this guy up here, and I'll turn off windowed region to save myself some space. Okay. So basically what you're dealing with when you do your observation, you have kind of two options. Both you're going to do an observation either way for the assignment, but you have a different way of looking at it. And this is kind of how all research kind of breaks down. You have what's called inductive and deductive reasoning. And so what that means is that you can either start with a theory or you start with the observation. And so let's say that we start with the observation. That would be inductive reasoning. Or inductive research even. And if you went this route, you kind of start with the observation, and based on what you see, you then think back to the theories that you've had in class and think, what theory applies to the observation, to the details that I observed in my observation or observed with the organization. And so you would start off by doing it. Let's say that in your observation you saw, let's say you went to McDonald's or something, and I'm really not too sure what the management works, how that works there, but let's just say that I know back in the day they used to have like red shirts and blue shirts or something, and those represented some sort of management level. But anyways, let's say that red shirt's like top of the game, right? And with those red shirts, maybe you saw a red shirt interacting with I don't know, a black shirt. And those black shirts are the employees, and the red shirts are kind of the shift managers or the leaders of some kind. And so let's say that we have you observe a red shirt and a lead, and that red shirt was interacting with a black shirt. And you saw the black shirt, this is the employee, and you saw the black shirt maybe did something wrong, maybe screwed up your order, and you observed how the management dealt with that or the leadership dealt with that. And let's say that the management didn't get angry, the leader didn't get angry, and instead of addressing, why did you do this wrong, why do I have such crappy, why do I have such crappy employees, why does it always end up like this, why are you doing that wrong, why are you doing that wrong, maybe they said, you know what, I understand why you did that, and I think that maybe I gave you the incorrect guidance, and so here's what I'm going to do to help you out in the future. And so the leader kind of took that on themselves and said, you know, it's not really your fault as much as it is my fault for not providing you with the resources you need, or the learning you need, or the knowledge you need, or the guidance you need, whatever. So if that's the case, you have a whole scenario here that you can now analyze with any of the theories that we've had in class. And so that's where it kind of becomes inductive, because you're starting at starting without knowing anything, first of all, and you're kind of going into it without any kind of bias. You're going to go into it without any frame of reference and just say, what applies here? What details reflect whatever theory? And so let's just say that we went with habit 1 of Covey's 7 habits, and that's being proactive. And so instead of having reactive thoughts here and saying, why does this keep happening to me? What's going on here? The employee, the leader, said something closer to, well, what can I do to change this? Instead of, oh, woe is me, I have crappy employees, it was, what did I do wrong that I underserved my employee, and now as a leader, what can I do to fix that? And so that's kind of being a little bit more proactive. And so it's looking at that, and then kind of going into forming a theory to fit, okay? So you start off with the observation, you find a theory that fits the observation. Now that is completely backwards then from deductive reasoning, which is the other way you can do this. There's no real definite way you have to do this, just the only thing you have to do is have the observation, you have to have a theory. Do you start with a theory, do you start with the observation? That's completely up to you. If you start with a theory, though, now you're trying to look at your observation through a lens. You're going to go into your observation already saying, okay, I'm going to look for proactive thinking or proactive leadership. And I'm going to find out, where do I see that here? And so if you do that, though, and that would look a little something like this. You're kind of asking yourself that. Where is my theory, or is the theory in my observation? Whereas here, you're saying, what theory jumps out from my observation? And so you're kind of working essentially backwards. Now the thing is if you have the theory here, and you start with a theory, there's a chance that you might go into the observation and not see your theory. So if you go into an observation and say you're looking for someone to be proactive and have proactive leadership, but you don't find it, that's okay, even if it's not there, because then you're going to, rather than write your paper and give your presentation from the fact of, oh, they did a great job, and I feel like the great job reflected habit 1 of Covey's 7 habits. Now instead, if you don't find it, you're going to say, I used this theory, but it wasn't there. They didn't use proactive leadership. But if they did, this is what it would have looked like, and this is how it would have been a better leadership, first of all, approach, and then a better experience for the employee as well. So it's two different things, and that's only if you don't actually see the theory. Now, if you have, let's say you're looking for self-determination theory, and you go into the observation, you see autonomy, competence, relatedness, bam, 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 right there, then you're in a good spot, because you don't really have to go about that. If you go this way, it's more, I guess, experimental, because you don't really know what you're going to find. I guess you can say the same thing about this, though, because you don't really know. You're going into it without expecting anything, but neither one is right nor wrong. Both of these are very solid approaches to research, but I just want to pitch those out there so you know what we're talking about. Now, if we go back to, where are we at here? Now, if we go back to the assignment, I try to paint that picture a little bit for you in here, but I don't really explain it too detailed because there's really not, I don't want to put a lot of reading there for you. So anyways, stemming from the week 4 assignment where you chose the organization that you're going to use for your observation, I want you to think about the organization that you observed or you're going to observe, and then based on what you saw or what you hope to see, think about the theories we covered in class. Now basically, to complete this assignment, describe in 250 words or more the leadership you observed, discuss a theory under which you feel these leaderships and actions could fit, and then explain why you feel these theories apply. Now again, that's if you do the inductive, right? Let's see. Yeah, so that's if you do the inductive reason, the inductive research. If you do the deductive reasoning research, you're going to start off with a theory. So it's really you kind of pick the route that you want to go, but more or less wow, I just really started writing. What I really want you guys to focus on here is telling me what you observed or what you hope to observe. Tell me the theory that you are going to use that you think fits your observation, or the theory that you hope will fit your observation, and then explain your thoughts behind that. Again, if you haven't done your observation yet, you can just kind of tell me what your plans are in 250 words and kind of explain, inductive or deductive research. Explain to me which one you're going to use, and that's basically the whole assignment. So turn that in by the end of the week, and we'll be all good. Other than that, I think that's it for the week. So let me double check. Oh, there's a thesis assignment, but I'm going to post another video in here in just a second. Yeah, I'm not going to go outside in that. So yeah, I'll be here for a while. Okay, well, have a good week.